She was just 9 years old when tragedy tore her from this world. A bright light snuffed out too soon. Her father, Baba Tife, was shattered, drowning in a grief so deep it threatened to consume him. Unable to say goodbye, he did the unimaginable. He had a camera inside her coffin, desperate for one last glimpse, one final moment. What he saw when he played back the footage wasn't just heartbreaking. It was chilling beyond belief. This is a story of unbreakable love, dark secrets, and a haunting truth that crosses the boundary between life and death. Brace yourself, because what Baba Tife captured will shake your soul and challenge everything you think you know about loss. In the quiet village of Ijana, nestled beneath the hills of southwestern Nigeria, lived a humble schoolteacher named Baba Tife, a man known for his soft voice, deep wisdom, and unmatched love for his only daughter, Tiaferelua. She was his world, his sunrise, his joy, his prayer answered after years of barrenness. Tife was only 9 years old, but her soul was older. Her laughter lit their modest home, like oil lamps in the dark. Every day, she'd run to the school gates just to hug him before he left. But nothing could prepare Baba Tife for what fate had planned. Nothing. It began with a cough, soft, persistent, then a fever that wouldn't break. They tried herbs, prayers, and even the town clinic. But Tife's eyes grew dimmer. Baba Tife watched helplessly as the life in her faded. He knelt beside her every night, whispering psalms and reciting Yoruba oriki of strength. Tifermi, Omo Aomi, you will rise. But she didn't. On the seventh night, as dawn crept in like a thief, her tiny fingers slipped from his hand. And just like that, the house that once echoed with laughter fell silent. Baba Tife's world shattered. The villagers gathered in whispers. Women wept. Men stood in silence. Baba Tife refused to believe she was truly gone. How can the sun die at dawn? He asked. Yet, tradition must hold. They laid her in white, her favorite beads around her neck. But as the wooden coffin was brought forward, Baba Tife made a strange request. He wanted to be alone with her one last time. Behind closed doors, he whispered something into her ear, kissed her forehead, and secretly placed a small camera inside the coffin, tucked between her pillow and the silk lining. No one noticed, not even the priest. Back home, Baba Tife sat in silence, the weight of the camera's remote feed burning in his chest. He didn't do it out of madness. He did it out of longing. Maybe, he thought, maybe her spirit will visit. Maybe I'll see a miracle. For the first 2 nights, the footage showed only stillness, just the peaceful face of his daughter. Until the 3rd night, around 2:47 a.m., a faint tapping sound echoed through the speaker. Then movement. A small shadow moved across the coffin. Baba Tife froze. It wasn't dust. It wasn't the camera failing. It was something else. Baba Tife leaned in. His hands trembled as he replayed the footage. At first, there was silence, then a faint whisper. The voice was soft, barely audible, but it was real. It called out, Baba me. It was Tife's voice. He clutched his chest as tears streamed down. Was his mind playing tricks? Or was her spirit truly calling out to him? He replayed it again. And again, the whisper was real. The air around him felt colder. Baba Tife, a man of strong Christian faith and Yoruba roots, didn't know whether to pray, weep, or scream. The next night, the camera picked up something even stranger. The interior of the coffin began to shake slightly, as if someone were shifting within. Dust fell from the sides. The silk pillow dented in slowly, like a small weight was pressing against it. Baba Tife backed away from the screen, terrified. Ielidami, he shouted. Was this a spirit, a sign from God, or something darker? He called his friend, Pastor Kin, and showed him the footage. The pastor, after watching, could barely speak. Baba Tife, this is not normal. We must pray. Immediately. That night, Baba Tife had a vivid dream. He stood in a misty forest, calling Tife's name. From behind a tree, she appeared barefoot in the same white dress she was buried in. "Daddy," she said, her eyes full of tears, "why did you let them close the box?" "I wasn't sleeping. I was awake." He awoke in sweat, gasping. Could it be possible? Had they buried her alive? Or was his grief warping his mind? His heart beat faster than ever. He grabbed the camera feed again, watching, waiting. If she moved again, he would open her grave. The next morning, Baba Tife couldn't take it anymore. He rushed to the town morgue where Tife's body had been prepared. There, he found Segan, the young assistant who helped clean and dress the girl. Pressed hard, Segan hesitated, then spoke. "Sir, when I wash a body, I thought I saw her lips twitch. But the mortician said it was muscle memory. I didn't know what to do." Baba Tife's knees buckled. Had there been a mistake? Had his daughter been buried alive? The thought crushed him. But deep inside, something told him it wasn't too late. By nightfall, Baba Tife could no longer wait. He lit a lantern, wrapped himself in a cloak, and made his way to the village graveyard. The moon hung low as he stood before Tife's burial mound. His hands shook. Alone, he began to dig. With each scoop of earth, he whispered prayers, begging God for mercy. "Tife, if you're there, forgive me." Sweat and tears mixed on his face. Hours passed. Finally, the wooden lid appeared. Baba Tife paused. What if he was wrong? What if she was really gone? But a faint tapping echoed from inside the coffin. With trembling fingers, Baba Tife pried open the lid. His lantern flickered wildly. Inside lay his daughter, eyes wide open. She blinked once, then again. "Daddy," she whispered, voice dry and barely alive. Baba Tife let out a cry that shook the trees. He reached in, pulled her frail body into his arms. She was alive, weak, cold, barely breathing, but alive. He wrapped her in his robe and held her tightly. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry," he wept. Tife clung to him like a child escaping a nightmare. A miracle or a terrifying mistake? At dawn, Baba Tife carried Tife into the village clinic. Screaming for help, nurses stared in horror. But she was declared dead 3 days ago. Baba Tife roared, "She's breathing. Feel her chest." But the head nurse refused. If she was buried and lived, this is no child. It could be abomination. Others stepped back in fear. Rumors of witches and spirits spread fast. Yoruba beliefs ran deep. Even pastor kin hesitated. Maybe this is not a god. Baba Tife wrapped his daughter tighter. "She is my blood. She is my daughter. If none of you will help, I will help her myself." That night, back at home, Baba Tife locked the doors and cleaned his daughter's wounds. She sipped water. Her voice was hoarse. Then, between breaths, she said, "Daddy, I saw the light, but something pulled me back. It wasn't time." Baba Tife wept again, and then he confessed a secret he never told anyone, not even his wife before she died. "Tife, when you were born, a Babalawo told me your spirit would not stay long in this world. He said I must never let go of you completely. Maybe placing the camera wasn't madness. Maybe it saved her soul." Word of Tife's return spread to the town like wildfire. Some came to see. Others came to fear. One morning, Baba Tife brought her to the local Anglican priest, Reverend Aliyemi, hoping for a prayer of protection. But when the priest saw her, he stepped back. "This is beyond my calling," he said, voice low. "I cannot pray over one who has crossed the land of the dead." Baba Tife knelt, pleading. "She is just a child." But Reverend Aliyemi shook his head. "If you love her, keep her away. She is not meant to walk this earth again." Baba Tife stood, heart shattered once more. That night, Tife lay on her mat, staring at the ceiling. Her eyes were open, but her mind seemed far. Baba Tife sat by her side, watching over her. Just past midnight, she began to whisper in her sleep, "Ima Binu, I didn't mean to. I was cold." Then her voice changed. Deeper, unfamiliar. She is not yours anymore. Baba Tife jumped back, fear slicing through him. He shook her awake. Tife. She blinked, dazed. Daddy? Why are you scared? Her voice was soft again. Normal. But Baba Tife knew. Something had followed her from that grave. Desperate and out of options, Baba Tife traveled deep into the forest to find a Babalawo who gave him the prophecy 9 years ago. Baba Ifagbai. The old man sat silently as Baba Tife poured out the story. After a long pause, Baba Ifagbai spoke. You tampered with fate. Her time had come. The spirit world accepted her. And now they will come for her again. Baba Tife begged. Can I protect her? The old man looked into his cowrie shells and said, There's a price, and it will not be yours to pay. Are you ready to watch her suffer again? 2 days later, while Tife played quietly with her old doll, she suddenly dropped it. Her body went stiff. Her eyes rolled back. Baba Tife screamed and rushed to catch her. She convulsed just once, and then went completely still. No breath, no pulse. No, no, not again, he shouted. He tried everything, mouth to mouth, pounding her chest, but she lay silent. Then, from nowhere, her lips moved slightly. A single breath escaped. Then a whisper, Don't open the door! Daddy, they're outside. Baba Tife looked up. The lamp flickered, and at the window, 3 shadows stood silently watching. The following morning, Baba Tife sat by Tife's side, eyes swollen from a sleepless night. She was breathing again, but barely. Then a knock at the door. Gentle, rhythmic. He peeked through the curtain. 3 figures dressed in pure white, heads covered in cloth, stood silently. No faces, no greetings. Baba Tife opened the door halfway. What do you want? One stepped forward and handed him a folded palm leaf. Inside, in chalk writing, was a message. A child returned must pay with the moon. When he looked up again, they were gone. Baba Tife returned to Baba Ifagbai that afternoon, trembling. What does this mean? He asked, holding the palm leaf. The Babalawo read the message and closed his eyes. There is one chance to sever the link. During the next full moon, you must perform the Igbo Apamo, the protection ritual. It will either keep her here or send her back permanently. Baba Tife asked, What do I need? The Babalawo replied, The hair of the child, her birth cloth, and the soil from her grave. Baba Tife nodded, swallowing hard. I'll do it. Anything to keep her. That evening, Baba Tife returned to the gravesite. Wind howled through the trees. He dug with his bare hands, retrieving a handful of the dry soil. As he stood to leave, he heard something behind him, a low chant. Turning, he saw villagers with torches. Leading them was Chief Agbula. What you're doing is not right, he said. We buried her. You disturbed the balance. Baba Tife pleaded. She was alive, but the villagers were unmoved. You will bring darkness to us all, Chief warned. Baba Tife clutched the soil and ran into the night, heart pounding with fear. The night of the full moon arrived. Baba Ifagbai lit the sacred fires in a remote forest shrine. Tife, wrapped in white cloth, lay inside a chalk-drawn circle. Her hair had been cut, her birth cloth soaked in palm oil, the grave soil scattered around her. Baba Tife stood watching, holding back tears. The Babalawo began chanting, invoking ancestral spirits. Tife's body began to shake. Her eyes rolled again. Her voice shifted, deep and ancient. Why did you bring me back? She asked, not to Baba Ifagbai, but to her father. The fire surged. The forest went silent. As the fire roared, Tife sat upright. Her eyes glowed with a pale light. Her mouth opened, but the voice that emerged was not hers. It was old, layered, distant, like 1,000 whispers speaking as one. You disturbed the gate. You pulled her from our hands. Now, Something else has followed. Baba Tife trembled. Baba Tife knelt in reverence. Ancestors, what must be done? The voice replied, she must choose, light or shadow. But the father cannot interfere again. Then Tife fell unconscious, the light in her eyes extinguished. Silence returned, but nothing felt right. The next day, back home, Tife was quieter. She barely spoke. She didn't eat. Baba Tife watched her brush her hair in front of a small wooden mirror. But something felt wrong. He noticed she wasn't looking at her reflection. She was looking into it, as if something stared back. He leaned closer. In the mirror, her eyes were not hers. They were pitch black, and just behind her reflection stood another Tife, smiling, sinister. Baba Tife gasped. She turned to him, normal again. What's wrong, Daddy? He said nothing, but he knew whatever came back wasn't just her. That night, Baba Tife heard singing. It was Tife's lullaby, the one his late wife used to hum. But Tife was asleep. He followed the sound to her room. Her doll, which hadn't moved in weeks, now sat upright, humming softly. He reached out slowly. As he touched it, the doll fell limp, then vanished. No sound, no trace. The air turned ice cold. Tife stirred in her sleep, whispering, she wants to play, Daddy. She says I can't leave. Baba Tife backed out of the room, chest tight. Something wasn't just haunting his daughter. It was possessing her space. Finally, Baba Tife remembered the camera, the one he had placed in her coffin out of obsession or love. With trembling hands, he retrieved the SD card and inserted it into his old laptop. Static, then footage from inside the coffin, her body lying still. Hours passed. Then her eyes opened. She smiled faintly, whispered something. A faint tapping noise echoed from outside the coffin. She turned her head slowly and whispered, I hear them. They're here to take me. Then came scratching. Not hers. Not human. Baba Tife slammed the laptop shut, heart racing. What had he done? That night, just as Baba Tife tried to rest, the scratching began. At first faint, then louder just beneath the floorboards. He rushed to Tife's room. She was sitting up again, rocking slowly, her eyes open but blank. They're under us, she whispered. They follow me back. They want a door. Baba Tife dropped to his knees and placed his ear to the wooden floor. Tap, scratch, tap, knock. It responded in perfect rhythm. Sweat rolled down his back. His daughter reached out to him and said, If I go back, they'll stop, but you won't let me. He sobbed. At dawn, Baba Tife returned to Baba Tife. She's not alone, he said. Whatever came with her, it's getting stronger. The Babalawo's face darkened. Then we must ask the gods directly. This is no longer a ritual. It is war between realms. A sacred gourd was broken open. Incantations were spoken. Cowries cast onto red earth. The Babalawo stared at the results, his voice shaking. She was never meant to return. You've broken IS law. The only way to restore balance, he paused, trembling, is to return her soul by force. Baba Tife fell to his knees. But she's my child. Back home, Baba Tife watched Tife play outside. She looked normal. She laughed, sang, chased butterflies. But he knew it was only a mask. Behind her giggles hid something older, colder. She paused and looked at him. Daddy, would you still love me if I wasn't me? His heart cracked. Always, he said. That night, he prepared the final ritual. He laid her favorite dress, her birth cloth, and a feather from her pet bird on the floor. As she slept, he sat beside her, whispering stories from her childhood, the very ones that once made her giggle with joy. Just as Baba Tife lit the final flame, Tife sat up, possessed again. Her voice thundered, "You will not take her." The house shook. Objects flew. Windows shattered. Baba Tife stood his ground, chanting the sacred words Baba Ifegbei had given him. Ornaya one, Ugnaya Lofe. Heaven is their land, but she belongs to the living. The spirit screamed through Tife's mouth, writhing, convulsing. Then Tife collapsed, breathless. Still, Baba Tife screamed in anguish. Had he saved her or destroyed her? The candle went out. All was silent again. The silence after the ritual was haunting. Baba Tife held his daughter's body, warm but motionless. No breath, no blink. He carried her to mat, wrapped her in the cloth she was born in, and whispered every nickname he'd given her since birth. The hut felt empty. Still, too still. Hours passed. Then a flicker. Her fingers twitched. Baba Tife froze. Tife, her eyes open, clear, soft. "Daddy," she whispered. He wept like a child. But deep inside, something gnawed at him. Was this truly his daughter, or had something else simply worn her face better this time? Baba Ifegbei arrived at first light, panting, drenched in sweat. The balance was not restored, he said, eyeing Tife cautiously. The god said, "Something crossed into I before the gate was sealed. It didn't come for Tife, it came because of you." Baba Tife stiffened. "Me?" Baba Ifegbei nodded. "Your grief cracked the veil. Your love echoed too loud through the void." He knelt before the girl. "What is your name, child?" She smiled, Tife, then paused. "Or what remains of her?" Baba Ifegbei gasped. Baba Tife fell backward. The truth had come. Something had stayed behind. That night, Baba Tife dreamed of water, endless black water. In it, children floated, silent, smiling, their eyes white. Tife stood among them, holding a golden thread. "You pulled too hard, Daddy," she whispered. "Now others are stuck too." He awoke, gasping, drenched in sweat. Tife sat beside him, eyes wide. "They visit me too," she whispered. "They say you owe them peace." He looked into her eyes and saw flickers, faces of the dead, spirits trapped between I and Orin. He knew now. Saving her had opened a spiritual wound that could not be stitched shut. Desperate, Baba Tife returned to the forest altar. He lit 7 flames and called out, not to the gods, but to whatever was listening. "Take me," he whispered. "Let her live. Let her be free." The wind rose. Leaves circled violently. A deep voice echoed from the trees. "You offer your soul in place of hers?" "Yes," he cried. "Gladly." Then silence. The flames extinguished. Tife awoke at home, fresh-eyed, peaceful. But Baba Tife was never seen again. Some say he walks the edge of Orin, guiding souls. Others say he became the voice behind the veil. Tife woke up under her mother's roof, whole, breathing, blinking, confused. "Where's Daddy?" she asked. Silence filled the room. Her mother hugged her tight. "He's watching," she whispered. But something in Tife knew. She walked through the house like a soul retracing memories. Her old room, her tiny drawings, the scarf Baba Tife used to wear. She touched it and tears fell. "He kept me warm even when I was cold," she whispered. Yet the warmth in her chest wasn't just grief. It was love, deep, sacrificial love. And somehow she could feel him near, watching. Weeks later, the camera was found buried in a metal case Baba Tife had sealed behind the shrine. Baba Ifegbei opened it and played the footage. At first, stillness, then scratching. A voice. "Daddy, it's cold," the camera glitched. Then a shadow passed. The coffin creaked. But the most terrifying part came at minute 43. Tife sat up, not gasping, not shocked, calm. She stared directly into the lens. "He called me back," she whispered, "but not alone." Then she smiled, a smile number 9-year-old should wear. Baba Tife dropped the camera. It had captured more than death. Ever since the footage was viewed, strange things began happening. Bells rang with no wind. Shadows moved in still rooms. And each night, someone in the village dreamed of a father walking the riverbank, calling names, their names. Baba Tife sent messengers to destroy the footage, but the digital copy had spread. People were drawn to it. Some even claimed to hear a whisper when watching, "Will you trade?" It was clear Baba Tife had made a bargain, and the gate he tore open never closed. The dead were listening now, and they remembered every name. In Baba Tife's journal, tucked beneath his altar, one final message was written in trembling Yoruba script. Imirikeo lo pada, tibien iferinifi inuda oren. It was not her soul that returned, but your love that forced heaven's mouth open. Tife, now older, reads the words yearly on her birthday. She lights a candle, sits by the river, and whispers, "Thank you, Daddy. I know you're there." And sometimes the water ripples in reply. She smiles, knowing love, true love, can break every rule, even those written by gods. Years passed, but the village never forgot Baba Tife's sacrifice. Tife grew up carrying her father's love as a shield and a burden. She became a storyteller, passing down his tale, a warning and a testament to the power of love and the danger defying the natural order. At festivals, children would gather around, eyes wide, as she spoke of a father who loved his daughters so fiercely he broke the boundary between life and death. Yet every story carried a shadow. Sometimes at night, a soft whisper echoed, "Daddy," reminding all that some bonds can never truly be severed. One evening, as Tife prepared to close the old shrine, she noticed something peculiar. A pair of small footprints leading away from the altar, wet and glowing faintly under the moonlight. She followed them to the edge of the forest, where a cold breeze brushed her cheek and a whisper carried on the wind, "Thank you, Daddy." Turning quickly, she saw nothing, but feelings settled deep in her bones. The spirit of Baba Tife still walked between worlds, guarding, watching, never truly gone. The camera's secret had become a legacy written in shadows. Years later, a new recording was found inside the old camera case, one no one had seen before. It began with Tife's voice, calm but urgent. "If you're watching this, know the story is not over." The footage flickered to show Baba Tife's face, pale but resolute. Then a chilling warning. The gate between worlds was never meant to open. If you choose to listen to grief's call, prepare to pay the price. Suddenly, a shadow moved behind him, a figure darker than night, whispering, "He left the door open and now it's our turn." The screen cut to black. Silence. The story ends, or perhaps it begins anew. Baba Tife's love opened a door that not even death could close. The village lives with the knowledge that the veil between worlds is thin, and sometimes the dead don't just rest. They watch, they wait, and when the wind whispers through the trees, calling names in the dark, those who listen know one truth. Love is eternal, but some bonds come with a price far darker than anyone dared imagine. Are you ready to pay it? If this story moved you, please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss another unforgettable tale from At Echoes Africa Stories. Have you ever experienced a bond so strong it defied logic? Or felt a presence you couldn't explain? Share your story in the comments below. We want to hear from you. And remember, sometimes love reaches beyond the veil, but it always comes with a price. Stay curious, stay safe, and until next time, keep listening to the echoes of the past.